What's up guys, welcome to Tides Fishing. Today I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial over how to fish with popping corks. I'm going to be doing quick 3 steps guys. What you're going to need to make a popping cork, how to fish it, and then how to rig it. And guys, these popping corks are this is the best way to fish if you're a beginner just getting into saltwater fishing, or if you're a really experienced angler or someone who's taken a beginner fishing. Giving them a popping cork to really allow them to catch more fish. Or if you're just too lazy to cast, it's a great way to fish too. But you can fish these 3 ways really. The first way is going to be with live shrimp, and with live shrimp I would just recommend using just a normal croaker hook. I believe this is a 3/0 size, but you can just tie this onto below the hook, so you'll have a 3/0 croaker hook if you're going to be fishing with live shrimp. If you don't have any live shrimp, your next best bet is probably going to be a Gulp shrimp, and then here is a Gulp shrimp that you can also rig below the cork if you don't have any live shrimp, and I would recommend rigging these with a jig head. And then your third option that you can use is going to be using a DOA shrimp. I've had really good luck with these before. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's just really up to the fish, depends on kind of what they were wanting that day. So the 3 things you're going to need to make a popping cork are: number 1 is going to be a popping cork. They come in many different shapes, sizes, colors, whatever you think is best. This is probably the average size here is what I would recommend getting. And you can find these, I think they're probably about $3, Walmart or Academy, you can find them anywhere. Most of them have the wire as seen here in this one, or with the beads on the bottom, but you will find some that have more of a kind of thick braid going through them, and these will also work too. They're all pretty much, they do the same thing. Number 2, what you're going to need is some type of either mono or fluorocarbon. I personally use fluorocarbon, but mono is just fine. I really use about 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon when tying as the leader below the cork, or you can just use 15 or 20 pound mono, which works too. And then finally, your third thing which you're going to need, what I already kind of went over, is either some type of bait. You can either use live shrimp. That's the best way if you're a beginner or you're taking people out and you want them to catch fish. Live shrimp is the way to go with a croaker hook, or then if not, you can either use croaker or a DOA. So the way to fish these guys is you're going to want to fish it about 12 inches from the bottom. So ideally you're going to want to know the depth of your water and then tie your leader to where it's sitting right above the bottom. But if you don't know how deep the water is, I would recommend tying a leader of about 18 inches, or if you know you're in really deep water, maybe tie one 24 inches or something a little bit longer. But once you get it rigged up, the way you're going to want to fish it is when you throw this popping cork. If you're fishing with live shrimp, I would say you're going to want to pop the cork every about, I'd say, 10 seconds or so, because you have the live shrimp, so it's going to be working by itself a little bit. But when it's sitting in the water, you're just going to want to pop it and just with your line, and that's going to make that popping noise that you hear right here, and that attracts fish. If you're going to be using it with a Gulp or a DOA, I would recommend popping it a little more often, maybe 3 to 5 seconds. It's just going to give a little more action for something that's not alive. Alright, and so now I'm going to jump in and show you guys how to rig it up. Okay, so the first step when you're making these is going to be to pick out your cork, and the thing to make sure that you do when rigging this up is that all popping corks will have some type of weight at the bottom here, as seen here on this bead or right here from this cork. And you want to make sure when you rig this up that the beads are always going to your bait. That's going to be the heavy side of the cork, so that's going to be the part that is underwater. And then the other side is going to be what goes to your main line. So for here, with this swivel, your swivel will come from your main line will come and attach to the swivel here. But for this demonstration, I'm going to be using this Cajun Thunder cork here, and you can see it has the brass beads on the bottom. So this side is going to be the side going to our DOA shrimp, which is what I'm going to be using. And then our main line is going to come in here, and it will attach here to this swivel that's seen here. Okay, so what you want to do first is have your cork, and then second you want to cut a piece of string. This is, like I said before, this is going to depend on the length of the water you're fishing. Here I have an average length of here I'm using a length of about 18 inches, I would say. And I'm going to take that part of the line, and this is going to be the part of the line that goes to the DOA shrimp. So I'm going to tie this on here to the bottom swivel on the side that has the beads. And for this knot, I'm just going to be using like a normal fisherman's knot here. So to tie a fisherman's knot, you would just pinch one end of the string as seen here, and then you're going to want to spin this end about 5 or 6 times. And once you do that, you see that hole right there, you're going to want to take your tag end here and stick it back through that hole. Then once you get that, you can go ahead, slide your line down, and pull it tight. And there's your knot that goes to the bottom end of your cork. Okay, now from there, then you're going to go ahead and decide, depending on what you're going to fish with, as I went over earlier, what you're going to tie onto the bottom end of your line. And for this one's just going to be the simple DOA Shrimp. And so once again, you can tie a loop knot for this. A lot of people like tying loop knots when using artificial. It just gives it more action, but I'm just going to go ahead and tie a fisherman's knot just to make it quicker for the video. And once again, you're going to do like 5 or 6 twists, whatever you think is best. Somewhere in there should be good. You're going to find your hole once again. Just seeing there's your hole. And take your tag end, and you're going to go back through that hole. Back through the hole, grab the end, pull it tight. Be careful here, don't hook yourself in pulling these. It's easy for it to slip. Slide it down, and then pull it tight. And that's tied onto your shrimp. So this is really the completed popping cork here. And this is going to be one of the best things you can use to fish, guys, like I said. And the final step will be obviously just to take your main line and tie it onto here. That'll go here onto the popping cork. But then from there, you're ready to go.